Here's 10 things I wish I knew as a beginner accordionist. Number 1, choose the right accordion. This accordion right here is my first accordion and it served me well. It's a 120 bass, 41 key, and I kind of got used to that. I didn't want to sacrifice the keyboard width or the bass when upgrading, and when I upgraded, I kind of made a big mistake. I wound up getting a Roland FR8X accordion, and this accordion was just a little bit too big for me. I went from sitting and playing to now standing and performing, and having this big accordion, I didn't really need it. I didn't need the extra width, I didn't need the extra keys, and honestly, I made a big mistake with that. So bigger is not always better. You can honestly get away with a 96 bass, even a 72, and for where I was in my journey, I didn't need this. So definitely choose the right accordion. And while we're on the topic of choosing the right accordion, make sure that your first accordion is not an electric accordion. I have a buddy, Bob Juno. He is a Patreon supporter and we've become great friends over the years. And he started with an electric accordion, and I'm sure he would say it himself, you don't want to start with an electric accordion as your first accordion. I eventually convinced him into getting an acoustic accordion, and when he tried it for the first time, it was completely different for him. The bellow control was very different. These electric accordions synthesize the bellow movement to replicate it as best as they can, but it's not quite the same as an accordion that breathes with reeds, and it's close, but it's not quite the same. And if this is your first accordion, I would definitely recommend getting an acoustic accordion. Now that we picked the right accordion, you want to attach it to your body. And how do you do that? Straps. So I didn't learn about this until much later, but your left strap should be a little bit tighter than your right strap. I was just making them nice and even, and my accordion was sitting dead center in my chest like this. That's not how it should be. The keyboard should actually be directly under your chin. And the way to achieve that is to have a little bit looser of a strap on the right, a little bit tighter of a strap on the left. That'll offset everything, and it's gonna feel a lot better. While we're on the topic of straps, you're gonna evolve from sitting and playing, and you'll eventually wanna stand and play. And when you do that, do not disregard connecting your back strap. That is a big no-no. I wore my shoulder out and suffered for years trying to rehabilitate it. Don't make the same mistake as I did. Connect your back strap. I made an entire video about it. I'll put it right here or in the description below. Don't forget to connect your back strap as you get better. Now that we're strapped in, we're locked and loaded, the next thing we want to focus on is good posture. That's something I kind of overlooked as a beginner accordionist, and I would often find myself sitting on the edge of my bed, sitting on the couch, leaning back on the couch. You want to sit on the edge of a firm seat, sit upright, and open your chest, almost pull your shoulder blades together as you play. One of the things I did wrong that kind of wore my shoulder out was taking my shoulder and kind of touching it to the accordion as I played, and it slowly wore out over time in this compromised position, and I had to relearn good posture, sitting upright, even standing upright, opening my chest. It's going to make a world of difference. If you learn it now, you won't have the issues that I did. Now that we're sitting in the right position, the next thing we want to focus on, tip number 4, is good finger placement, good arm placement. What are we naturally doing, and is that right? For me, naturally, I was tucking my arm in like this and playing kind of like this, which doesn't lend to good travel. Your hand isn't going to travel good with your arm tucked. You want to air out that armpit and let your arm kind of hinge at the elbow as you play up and down. And as we move down the arm, we're left with the fingers. What are the fingers doing? Are we playing with the pads of our fingers or the tips? You actually want to focus more on playing with the tips of your fingers rather than the pads. And you're going to want to hold your hand almost like you're holding a tennis ball, and that'll just make everything easier. If you nip this in the bud in the beginning, it's going to make things a lot easier. Speaking of pads, we'll get into it on this side. For me personally, I was playing a little flat-fingered, and I was finding that I was hitting a lot of these other notes that I didn't want to. And the way around that is to attack it from the top down, and that might require you going in a little bit more. your body size, your wrist size and everything. It's going to be different for everybody, but you're going to want to attack it from the top down. This isn't quite like holding a tennis ball. I don't think you could fit one in there. Maybe a pool ball or even a golf ball, but you're going to want to attack it from the top down and use just the tips of your fingers. There is a time where you can use your pads, and I would use the pads more as a searching tool rather than a playing tool. What I mean by that is there's these little dimples or jewels that are going to be on the accordion. That's going to be your compass. You can't see this, so you have to feel around for it. And the best way to feel around for it is to just flatten your finger and feel across, and you'll feel it right away. It's going to be a lot harder to do with the tips of your fingers. So pads of your fingers for searching, tips of your fingers for playing. Number 5, we're halfway there. If you guys made it this far, give this video a quick like. That way other beginner accordionists will be able to see this video and we'll all be able to learn something together. Next thing I want to cover is methods of learning. Now, I wound up learning by ear training and self-teaching, and was that an effective way of learning? Sure, yeah, it's very normal to teach yourself how to play music, how to play instruments, and is it the best way of learning? I don't know. I think there's some value in learning how to read sheet music, and that was something that I never put a whole lot of stock in, but I would say the best way to go about learning is to have a little bit of both. If you can hear something and play it, that's great. If you can read sheet music and understand some concepts that these books want to try and instill in you, I think that that's very valuable. I wish I had stuck it out with these and learned a little bit more, but that wasn't the case. So with these two methods of learning, I would say pick up these Palmer Hugh books. These are really great, tried and true accordion resources that have withstood the test of time. The songs are kind of like a little hokey and a little old and outdated. It's a great form of learning, and I believe there's 8 or 10 or 12 different books. I think I have the first 6 of them. You'll learn a lot from them, and I spent a little bit of time delving into it, and I did walk away with a few techniques that I didn't have before, but I wound up going the way of self-teaching and kind of decoding the instrument myself and figuring it out for myself. And there wasn't too many modern resources available for me at the time. Of course, there was bass charts and all of that was a little outdated, and I thought it could totally use a facelift, so I wound up developing the accordion chord chart, and I actually give this away for free. You can check out my other video. I think it's how to play the accordion with an accordion chord chart. I'll link that up here and also down in the description, but this is a free resource that I give away to everyone. I developed this when I injured my shoulder. I had to take some time off, and I poured all my focus and attention into creating this resource that I wish I had when I first started out. And part of that process, I wound up making a series of posters that I give away in this Learn the Accordion kit. And it's a highly visual, super colorful, organized way of seeing the accordion in a way that you might not have seen it otherwise. And it's been helpful for hundreds of people now. That I've gotten emails and thank yous from all around the world, and maybe it'll be helpful for you, maybe not, but I think it's good to have both. A little bit of ear training, a little bit of figuring it out yourself. The sheet music is good, but I would definitely do both. While we're on the topic of all of this, I do want to offer a giveaway. I have some extra books, some sheet music books that I don't use anymore. I have plenty of these charts, and I'm going to offer a giveaway to my Patreon members. You can head over to my Patreon, and even if you don't want to sign up and spend money, you can become a free member, and this will be available to everybody. You can sign up and scroll down until you see the Patreon poll, and just click on yes, I want sheet music, or yes, I want the Learn the Accordion kit. You'll be entered, and I'll give away 2 of each. So I'll probably open this up for maybe a month or 2. If you guys do want to stick around, there are some other benefits that you'll get: early access to videos, tangible goods. I actually offer lessons too. So that's actually the next one I want to get into. Number 6, find a teacher. I would say that right now I'm more of a helping out the beginner, helping out the common man, and getting them on their feet. So if you are a beginner accordionist, I can offer you some lessons right there. That's one of the tiers on my Patreon. But I would say finding a teacher in general is really just gonna streamline you to the quickest way possible of, hey, I see you're doing this wrong, fix it. You're gonna shave off years of learning if you just had a teacher sooner. So that's something that I waited a little bit on. I didn't have my first teacher until I was maybe in my 11th year of playing. I've been playing for about 13 years now, and I've taken a few lessons here and there, and there's eye-opening things to be had with having a good teacher. So I can definitely help you get started if that's something that you're looking to do. And you're still watching this video, so yeah, maybe we can connect. If you feel like we might be a good fit, shoot me a message and we can talk more. And number 7, this is a quick one, but use a metronome when you play. This was something I didn't use off the bat, and I wound up just playing as how I felt it should be played, and I wound up not developing my sense of rhythm until later. This is a great tool. They come in all different shapes and sizes. I'll link this one down in the description below. I believe I got it off Amazon, but using a metronome is going to help you internalize a sense of rhythm that it's just going to take a lot longer to internalize that and have that down without something like that. So I would recommend that. I would recommend starting very slow, almost painfully slow, and then just keep ramping it up. Whatever you're working on, 1 degree at a time, just keep ramping it up, and you'll be astonished with how much faster you can internalize things with the use of a metronome. Number 8 is the counterbass minor hack. This is something that I stumbled upon just trying out different combinations of buttons, and it actually enabled me to make minor chords using the counterbass row, where this comes in handy if you're doing bigger jumps. For instance, if we're going from C, A minor, F, G, look at the big jump that I have to do. There's a big jump between here, C, A minor, that big jump all the way back to F, and then G. It's a lot of work. It's a big jump, and it may feel unfamiliar, especially if you're just learning the accordion. Well, there's actually an easier way to access the minor chord, the A minor chord, and that's in the counterbass row. And instead of playing it over here, we go from the C to the diagonally, we go this direction, and we hit the A in the counterbass and then the major of the C. And it's a little bit different. It's actually an A minor 7. It has a little bit different of a sound, but you can use it the same. You can use it the same you would in any other song that you're playing, because sonically they're very, very similar. So hear this out. That's the standard way. This is the counterbass way. This is transferable and transposable all up and down. You got the A minor, you got the E minor, all the way up and down. Maintain the shape, and you can access all of these minor chords that otherwise you'd have to jump to. Don't use this all the time. There is a benefit to learning the jumps and being able to know, I gotta go over 3 this way, 4 this way. There's a benefit to knowing both, but this is really gonna help you hit the ground running, especially when first starting out. All right, we got 2 left. We're on the home stretch. Number 9, jam with other musicians. This is something that I've totally slept on for most of my time with the accordion. Honestly, I could probably count on maybe 1 or 2 hands how many times I've met up with other musicians and just had fun and played music. I don't know why I haven't done it more. Honestly, the accordion, in my defense, is a very complete instrument. You could do the melody, you could do the bass, chords on this hand, rhythm. It's a very complete instrument, and I've gotten very comfortable playing by myself, and almost too comfortable, because I know for a fact in the few times that I have jammed with other musicians, there's those aha moments where it's like, oh, I see what you're doing, and even though it's a different instrument, it applies, because music is this universal language where you will learn things from other musicians. So I wish I did it sooner. I'm gonna have to do it more. I gotta take my own advice with some of these, but seriously, do not sleep on it. Jam with other musicians. And number 10, we finally made it. Last one, the thing that I wish I would have done differently, I wish I would have started a YouTube channel sooner. I wish I would have documented my years of playing with this thing that I just don't have. I have a few videos that I recorded on Instagram from way back in the day, but it's simply not enough. There's so many tunes that I used to know that kind of fell through the cracks, and it would have been nice to reflect on that. So if you guys don't have a YouTube channel, set one up, document your journey. You don't have to put it on blast and share it with everybody, but if you are doing that, drop a comment down below and share it with me. I would love to tune in and see your progress and root you on every step of the way, because this thing called the accordion has fostered quite a community. I've felt nothing but love from the people that I've met in the years that I've been with it, and it truly is very, very special. So I will leave you with one last tip that it's not really pertaining to the accordion directly, but it comes from James chapter 1, verse 4, and it says, "Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Perseverance, that is persisting through difficulties, and this instrument is filled with difficulties. It's very hard to learn, but when you unlock it, when you hear it, when you feel that growl of the reeds on your chest and you feel it all come together, it's nothing short of magical. So just stick with it and you will become mature and complete. And I still to this day am very immature and incomplete, and I hope that this video has at least helped you in a way of just shaving off some fumbling around time, because I wasted too many years guessing how to do things. So if there's anything I can do to help out, drop me a comment down below, share your YouTube channel, say hello. I want to meet each and every one of you, and having you here is a total honor. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I'll see you next week.